everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hungry Bleak Show. I am Antonio Pomares. So, I hope you had a good week. How's it been? Well, I know we haven't had a really sit down talk yet, talk about stuff, haven't really reviewed anything as well. Well, I've just had so many guests coming over all the time, this open door policy. Everybody's coming in. It's great, but we're learning a lot. We're meeting some new people with their comics. We're revisiting old friends. We got some more people coming in. But as soon as everything calms down, we'll have a nice chat, just you and me. We'll talk about some comics, pancakes with crispy edges. We'll talk about some news, self-care. We'll do all that. I promise. Not neglecting you, but all these people that are coming in, I want you to see them too. I want you to see what they're doing. I want you to see what's going on. There's so much out there. And the goal of the Hungry Bleak Show is always to put someone over. I want to talk to you. I want to let you see all the great stuff that's out there. And there is a plethora. Like, the people that have been on here are just a drop in the bucket. Like, it's amazing. But anyway, enough about that. So, hope your week was good. Did you take care of that thing? Did you do it? How's work? Yeah, I know. And they be acting like that sometimes. That's all you can do. How your loved ones or family? They're doing the thing. Are they still doing the thing? Okay, cool. Soccer, all this stuff. Okay, great. Did you eat? Did you take care? Okay, great. Everything's good? Cool, great. So, today's show. Y'all know I love indie comics. It's like my bread and butter. Everything boils down to food with me. I don't know what that is. But anyway, so there's a huge project going on right now. And it's really, I don't know, monumental? Yeah. Let's use that word, because I don't use that word a lot. It's a huge monumental thing. And there are so many different creators that are part of it. And I've got one of them here. And it's also a very, very special occasion for this creator and the line of comics that they are the head of, which is Advent Comics. Folks, I want to introduce you to, or I shouldn't even be introducing you. You probably already know who he is. But if you don't, you're seeing him here. Look, regardless, he's here. So we're going to talk. Folks, this is Tony Kittrell. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you for that introduction, brother. Thank you for liking the show as well.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I'm happy to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Sir, I'm here. And I got my tea, as always.
That's all we can do.
I'm here and I got my tea. I'm good. All
right.
That's all. So, Advent Comics has been around for quite a while. And it's one of those indie comics that I've seen in stores when I've been like in New York, which I love seeing indie shops that are carrying more and more, the comic shops that are carrying more and more indie comics. I know the first shop I saw Advent in was, I want to say, JHU in Manhattan. I believe I've also seen them in, I'm trying to think of what other store. May have seen them in the comic strip near me.
Midtown Comics.
Yeah.
Everyone Comics.
Yes.
I think we're at anyone. You can find us in most of those stores.
Yes.
We're in previews as well. So any of those stores that order and support us, we thank them. We love New York. So thank you so much for supporting.
No problem. So for those who may not know, and I always love introducing people to creators and artists, writers, and comic lines that they may not know about. Can you tell us a little bit about Advent Comics?
Sure. Started Advent Comics back in 2009. We're celebrating our 15th anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Later in August 1st is the actual date. Planning something big for that day.
Okay.
So we're pretty much celebrating the entire year. We got stuff going on the entire year. I'm going to get into all that with you. Well, a few of those things with you, such as the first action figure, factory produced action figure we got going on. Crossover you mentioned. So we got all that coming in the first half of the year. And I haven't even talked about the second half of the year. Stuff got planned for the second half. But we're working hard. Like I said, we started back when comics were dark and gritty. I got tired of seeing a lot of that stuff, and also there was no real emphasis on Black characters. At this time, Milestone had already went away for a little bit, was on hiatus, and it was like the big two weren't really doing it. And I had an idea. I went to San Diego Comic-Con, went to the famous Black panel given by Michael Davis, one of the creators behind Milestone. Met Mr. Cowan, a couple other people while I was there. And it was a big influence. And just hearing them talk and seeing how they moved and the different people in the room, how it was time for Black people to enter into these spaces, science fiction and different television shows and comics and such. I was like really inspired. I was truly inspired. So I'm like, yeah, let's go home and do something. So went home, and Advent was born less than a month later, and we put our first project out later that year. I think it was October 2009. 80-page graphic novel called Pandemonium Evil Incarnate. It set up the universe, and it was different because I wanted to do something a little different. At Advent, we always try to push the norms a little bit. We'll give you superheroes, we'll give you any genre you want. We don't do not safe for work stuff because we got our children who are fans of ours.
Right.
And we'll also give it a twist. So that first book, we played with a topic, well, not so much to play with, but we introduced a topic that most people won't even cover. We did religion. So people were like, wow, comic book company doing religion? And that book really sold. And it sold to the point where I was surprised because comic book shop in Dubai contacted me and was like, we want to sell that book. And I was like, what? And so at the time, my father, my wife, everybody was like, comics, bro? Really? Are you serious? You want to do comics? And I mean, literally, that's my father-in-law was like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. And and at the time, because at the time I was just really getting started in my career as a firefighter. So I was like, well, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I read comics all the time as a kid, and it's a passion of mine. And and after talking to these different individuals, I'm like, I could see doing this as a business. And so it started to pick up. It started to go from there, and different outlets and things picked us up. So by the time 2018 arrived, we were selling on all 6 continents and in 54 different countries.
Nice.
I had applied to Diamond and kept getting turned down. I'm like, wow. And one of the other Black publishers, the guys over at Second Sight, were like, oh, you got so much banging content, bro. It was like, you just doing it wrong. So they gave me the secret, so to speak, of how to, appeal to Diamond. And so I tried it, and they were like, maybe. And I was like, well, look, you guys let me know what you want to do. And I told them the books I had coming up, and they were like, you producing books by these guys? Former, big time guys? And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, these are books that are coming out through my line. And they were like, hold on. And an hour later, they were like, we got you signed up. Welcome to Diamond. Because I was trying to hit markets I had never hit before. That's the reason I went to Diamond. I could not get access into Africa. That's where I really wanted to be. And I'm like, okay, well, Diamond has global access. I know they can get me to where I want to be. And so that was the emphasis of me trying to get with Diamond, because I was content. I'm like, I'm doing it on my own. I can do it. I don't really need that help. But after a while, I was like, I do need that help because I have zero access to the places I want to be. So they said we did it. We semi-successful, knock on wood, and still doing it this day. And today you can find Advent Comics on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Comixology Unlimited, Drive-Through Comics, Indie Planet, Kindle, Previews. We even sell in Walmart, so you can find us there too. So we trying to make some noise. We're trying to bring some attention to indie comics.
That's definitely a story. And for you to be so widespread and to get into Diamond, because Diamond seems to be like that. I don't know how I can Diamond seems to be like that
that unicorn.
Yeah.
I was chasing them for years. And
yeah.
I literally, and I was getting like frustrated. I'm like, I know our stuff is good because we had top quality writers, artists, everything. I'm like, paper. I'm like, why are we not getting into Diamond? And then eventually, they were like, well, you're doing it wrong. First of all, they were like, you're giving Diamond every month you come out with a different book. You just show them that one book, show them the whole line. I'm like, that's too many books to be showing Diamond. Because by that time, when I approached Diamond, I already had 20 different ongoing titles going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a line of creator-owned books of creators who I publish for, or whose books I publish. And I had, at that time, I think I had 4 titles in that line, which is now 9. So I was like, well, that might be too much. But then finally, I was like, you know what? Let's just show them what we got. So I just gave them all issues we had. And they were like, you're doing all of this on your own? I'm like, yeah. And they were like, wow. I'm like, okay. So I think that kind of showed them, I was just giving them one book at a time at that point, because that's what I was doing at first. Every time I came out with a new issue or a new title, I would just show them the book. And they're like, nah. And they were probably on the assumption, that's all this guy got. He got a one-trick pony. But then once I hit them with the entire arsenal of what we had going on, they were like, wow. They were like, okay, change your mind.
Yeah, so they can see that you're doing it.
Right.
I mean, because you figure it's Diamond, you can't show them too much, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah, but see,
you know what I mean?
I was in the wrong thought process. I was thinking me showing them all of that was too much. I was like, no. And it's kind of like you have to brag on yourself with Diamond, because they want to see you have 3, 4 issues, 6 issues of a title. They want to know you're invested in producing books. So if you send them just one book, they're like, yeah, okay, this guy's going to disappear after 1 or 2 issues. But if you show them a complete 1 through 6 issues of one title, and you follow up with another title that has 4 or 5 issues already in the can, they're going to be like, okay, maybe it's something we can work with here.
Yeah, because that shows that you have prolonged.
Exactly.
And you have a plan. You have some type of map of where you want to go. You know what I mean? And which shows, because you've had all these titles, and they have multiple issues. It's not like you have a title. It's not like you have 5 different titles and it's all issue 1. You know what I mean?
At one point it was, because as I was world building and mapping out the universe, that was one of the knocks on Advent Comics. They were like, oh, Advent Comics, I just got all these number 1s. But I had to set up different corners of the universe, and eventually it made sense, because we have this book called Cosmos, which is like our universe tying book, and it doesn't just tie our universe together. It was our very first crossover book that we're doing with over 100 publishers. Mm-hmm. Not just Black publishers, everybody's in this book. It's a crossover book. So I had to get every piece of the universe set up before I could tell a Cosmos story. So everybody was like, man, would you show us a number 2 book at one point? And I'm like, well, I got to set everything up first before I can get you the number 2 of Titan, or get you the number 2 of the Regulators. I got to get it all in place first. So that was a huge knock. And, I understood, but I had to do it. I had to do it a certain way, because certain issues wouldn't have made sense if I released just Titan 1 through 3. Then you wouldn't have known about the other things going on in the rest of the universe.
Yeah, I think that nowadays, with people being more sophisticated with what they know of comics, and more creators sharing their processes and everything, I think that people understand more about world building. Right. And they understand that you might have to do 3 or 4 of these issues to give you that, because that's the base.
That's the base, exactly.
If you don't have a good foundation, everything will, like anything, a house, a relationship, a story, you have to have that.
Exactly. And I had to put the foundation and the pieces in place in order for you to even care about what was going on in the main story I wanted to tell. So that was the thing. But I think people, once they saw it, they were like, oh, okay, all right. And then they saw other issues coming behind those. So it was once the pieces were in place, it was more of, okay, now we got a 3rd issue of Titan, or now we got a 2nd issue of the War Guard. Now we got a 4th issue of Dark Light in the Crew. So you were seeing all these books coming back to back at this point, because things were already in place and I could move forward at that point.
Yeah, it's all about that consistency. Right. Is one of the biggest draws to people. Like if I see a title, like this was maybe about, I don't know, maybe about 8 something, actually longer than that. Yeah, maybe 8, something like that. It's a comic. I went to a comic book show and I saw this comic. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And I read it and I was like, okay, cool. And I wanted to see more. Haven't heard from this cat since. Wow. And it was a cat, and it was a comic that I enjoyed because it was different. And I was like, this is different, and it's kind of off-putting to me. But that's what's interesting to me. Let me open up my boundary for that.
Right.
And I did. And I was like, okay, Haven't heard anything since. So I'm more about your first issue can be great, can look awesome, can look amazing. I might dabble in it, but I'm looking to see
The
what
follow.
else you got. Exactly, that follow, because I want more of that story. I love consistency. In all things, I love consistency.
Yeah.
And Advent Comics has been consistently just leveling up and doing better and better.
We're,
And
we're trying.
just you're not trying, you're doing it. You're straight up, you're doing it. If you have a T-shirt, I'm gonna say you're doing it. And nobody is gonna wear a T-shirt of something that is not going well.
We are. We
You know
are.
what I'm saying? So let's,
I did put everybody on notice because I just retired maybe like 7 days ago now, 7 exact days ago.
wow.
And I told everybody, yeah, I was a firefighter here in Maryland, career firefighter paramedic for close to 30 years. I told him, I said, I'm doing Advent Comics part-time, and this is what I'm doing. I'm about to do it full-time, so I'm telling everybody now, get ready. Get ready. And the day I retired, I released news about the Epiphany Engine. So that shows where we going. Only, yeah.
First off, congratulations on retirement.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Secondly, thank you for being a first responder in all those forms. I hope at some point we get maybe a comic about a firefighter.
Titan's alter ego is
who,
about a firefighter, and it may be a semi-autobiography about yours truly. And it actually is funny because a lot of my coworkers, I would put them in Titan's comic books. So a lot of the supporting characters are actually real firefighters, real police officers, real paramedics, and they enjoy seeing themselves in the book. So yeah, it's cool.
I'm glad that they enjoy it because some people don't like that.
Yeah. Oh, I caught it because my original crew, because Titan first appeared in that graphic novel Pandemonium Evil Incarnate, and I killed my first original crew, and they were like,
"Damn,
bro, you killed all of us." I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, I had to make the point. So, yeah.
I mean, look, one thing about writers is that they're gonna kill people off. I mean, that's gonna happen, especially in comics nowadays. Especially you have to do that. Would you say that Titan is your flagship title?
Titan is the flagship title. Yes, he is.
That was the first. I think Titan and Cosmos were the first two characters I ever saw from Advent. First off, Titan, just a very larger than life looking character. Also, I know this isn't the thing, but because I shave my head not bald, I enjoy seeing bald. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
And Cosmos I like because I was always a fan of like kind of the cosmic characters, whether it was an Adam Warlock, a Silver Surfer, something in space where anything could be anything, and literally open. So those two characters are what stick in my mind.
That's a story in itself because Cosmos started back actually a little bit more than 30 years ago. I had Marvel had an imprint at the time called Epic. They were looking for writers. Remember, I think it was like 97-ish, 96. Epic. Yeah, Marvel had an imprint called Epic that they were looking for writers at the time. So I'm like, okay, cool. I wrote a little story, and basically the character that it centered around was Adam Warlock because I love Marvel's cosmic characters.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I did was I developed a story using Marvel's cosmic characters. I had everybody from Marvel. I mean, I went deep like in the 60s and came back. And it made it up to like a couple levels editorial. And they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's all right. They said, well, we're going to do a different thing with this character. And they proceeded to kill Warlock off a second time. So this is when they kill Warlock off. So I'm like, okay. So when I started Advent, I'm like, Marvel like that story I had in mind. Why don't I just dust that off and use that for my own stuff? But I was like, I got a problem because I can't use Adam Warlock and I can't use their cosmic characters.
Right.
So instead of Adam Warlock, I created a character, and that character was called Genesis. He was like the placeholder. So if you knew that, and I even talked about the history of this before in the Cosmos book, told everybody how it originated. So Genesis was the placeholder for the Adam Warlock character. But I was like, I can't use Marvel's character, so what am I going to do to make this unique? And I reached out to the comic industry, everybody in the comic industry. And I'm like, I'm going to make this a crossover with all the characters and people that I grew up reading their comic books about. So it started to get bigger and bigger. And at one point I looked up and it was over 100 publishers and creators involved. Some of the people who've appeared in Cosmos include Dark Horse's Nexus by Mike Barron and Steve Rude, Absolver and Acolyte from Concrete Comics,
Represent, yes.
Justice from Wingless Comics,
Yes.
Chess from Comic One, Paige Alfred, Fist of Justice. We got Bounty Hunter. I mean, people started comparing it to Dave Ryan's War to Independence. So that even caught Dave Ryan. He's doing he's doing the War of Independence, and he did a big comic that was crucial in the Black community because issue 2 of War to Independence was a Black crossover issue. So he had dreadlocks and everybody come out. So that caught his attention. So he contacted me and was like, hey, let's bring Titan in. And I'm like, cool. I'm like, okay. I said, well, I got a story similar called Cosmos. Let me borrow one of your characters. So we did a switch. So Titan didn't appear in issue 2 because it was already done. But Titan is, I think, now in the issues you're seeing now. So he's in that book. And so it's in the spring. It's just been a roller coaster, man. And it's a good roller coaster.
Yes.
It's a headache, but it's a good roller coaster because I used to love crossovers when I was a kid. Reading Avengers versus Defenders or the X-Men versus Teen Titans. I used to love those type of books. And to play in that kind of yard and to have all these different characters who would normally never meet, that's always been a thing for me. So I love that. I get off on that kind of thing. And so that was one of the reasons why I had to do this Epiphany Engine thing, man. I had to make it work.
So Epiphany Engine, let's talk about that for a second. What is this? This is something that is new within the last, I want to say, couple of months. It's really been showing out there. Tell us what Epiphany Engine is.
Well, Epiphany Engine wasn't even my idea. I can't take credit for it. One of the guys from Black Comic Lords, name is Herschel Lewis. Mm-hmm. He had a post that he made, a little TikTok he made about War of the Independence 2, how that was like the biggest Black crossover at the time. And so he called myself and Fourth Wall Productions and a couple other Black comic creators and publishers who were on TikTok. He called us out and was like, we need something like this for today's age. Basically, can y'all get together and do it? And I saw that TikTok and I was like, can we get to do it? And I'm like, that's always been my type of, jam. I'm like, I wonder if the community will be open to it or if we're ready to do that yet. Because, everybody's always a knock on us. Oh, we can't work together. We can't do this. We can't do that. And personally, I had a crossover where it didn't go good. And that always stuck with me. That's the one thing. If I say I failed at something, that's my failure because I was upset that I couldn't make that work. We did one issue of a 3-issue miniseries, and like the Beatles, we just fell apart. We couldn't get it back together, and that always stuck with me. And I always felt bad behind that, not being able to make that work. So I was like, okay, if we do this again, man, we got to do it right. We can't let the egos, can't let the money, we can't let none of that come in between what we're doing. We're going to do a project like this. It's got to be for the fans. It's got to be for the community and the culture. And let's see what we can do. So I did a little call to action on Facebook. It's like August 31st. And the outpouring was surprising. I was like, wow. I'm like, okay, people really want to do this. Dave Ryan, who was doing, he's the guy who created the War to Independence. And he was like, you already doing something similar with Cosmos. He'd be like, if you're going to do it, you need to be the one to do it. And I was like, nah. I was like, I'll participate, but I don't know if I want to do it. I'm already doing Cosmos. That's enough headache. He was like, nah. And some of the other people in the group was like, nah, bro, you need to do this. And I was like, really? They were like, if it's going to be done, you need to lead it. You need to do it. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, maybe they're right. And I was like, this would be something nice. all these 5 companies together. I'm like, man, we could do something special. And everybody was on the same page, and that's how I started. Like I said, it wasn't even my idea. Herschel Lewis, he came up with the idea. I just asked people would they be interested, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. And then we all came together like Voltron and started making it work. That's it.
Sometimes that's like the best thing is when someone comes out of nowhere and has an idea and sparks such a big fire. So thank you very much to Herschel Lewis, first off, for doing it, because sometimes you just have to, like, a lot of maybe like people who are like maybe like off to the side will have an idea and they'll ask a question like, so why hasn't anybody done X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And it hits, and I literally can see people at like their phones or their computers or whatever going, yeah, I never thought, why haven't any?
And,
damn.
And that literally was like you could feel it through the Facebook post that everybody was thinking the same thing, like, yeah, let's go ahead and make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was like I said, I think that day, maybe like close to 80 people came together and was like, we want to participate. And so, eventually, because comic books is a business, you got to do it right.
Right.
Hey, we got to get releases. You got to let us use your character. We got to make all this happen. We got to contact creative teams and all that. So we got it down. Once I got it down, everybody who wanted to participate, for the most part, was able to participate. But by the time the smoke cleared, there were like 100 creators, about 40 to 45. I lost count. Somewhere about 45 comic publishers, Black comic book publishers, who all came together and they're participating in this project. So we're trying to do something special for everybody, and I think you're gonna be pleased.
This is a special event, and I know we are going to be pleased. It's just seeing some of the names that were on there is incredible. So I mean, it's going to be like a who's who, which is what you love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We all love like the MCU. We all love seeing a movie and seeing and hearing a character's name.
Exactly.
Or seeing a little like nudge. So to see the characters actually come together and flush out like that, we love that. So to see like somebody, like you might have a scene where someone's name is mentioned and you're like, oh, they're in this too. And then maybe an issue later, you'll see them interacting with them. That's always a cool thing to see. Always. Yeah. Especially for it to be Black characters too.
Exactly. And I don't know of a Black character driven book by all Black creators that has been done before. Now, I might be wrong, but like I said, I don't know if it's happened like this before. So I think we might be one of the first superhero. Well, not even so much superheroes, because some of the characters aren't superheroes that you're going to see in this project. But for it to be this big of a conglomeration of Black talent, it's impressive. It's impressive, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I didn't think of anything on that scale. The only thing that I can think of is that might come close is Almighty Street Team.
A few of the brothers from Almighty Street Team are participating as well.
Because they better. Because they better.
Stanley Weaver's participating.
Yes.
We reached out to a lot of the brothers. Like I said, we reached out to the entire community. I mean, I was burning up people's lines. People who didn't even know who I was. They was like, would this kid stop contacting me? I mean, that's how much I believe in this project. So we got some major players in the Black comics community involved in this, and I'm so thankful and humbled that they saw the vision. They see it too. So they signed on, and like I said, I think we're gonna do something special. I'm
highly excited about this. I'm excited to see characters that we are familiar with, and then characters that we might not be so familiar with, so we can get in on that action too. I love that. This is going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy fun. Now, another thing that is going on is the anniversary of Advent Comics.
Yeah, we're doing our 15th anniversary. August 1st, we're doing a big book. It's going to be 100 pages. We got a crazy lineup of talent there too. Now, I didn't keep this all Black, so this is creators from all over the place. We got Bart Sears, Ron Mars. We got who else? Jimbo Salgado. I mean, it's a crazy lineup on this one too. So, like I said, I'm giving you everything you want, everything you need. We have great art, great writing, and this story is actually going to promote or propel Advent to hopefully, knock on wood, the next 15 years, because it sets up a lot of different things that we got going on for the next arc. So I'm excited about it. And
That's
it's
incredible.
about 50% done, because I stopped to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff for Epiphany Engine, getting creators together and, helping get everything in order. So now that I'm retired, I have more time, and I'll get it back to where it needs to be. So by August 1st, we're ready to go.
Well, it's great that you're doing that balancing act of being between those two worlds. And so it's almost like you're doing you're literally doing a crossover yourself by being in both of these two things.
But I love the art of comics, man. I mean, I don't know how more to say. Love comics, and you can see by the smile I have on my face
that
man,
yes,
I love what I'm doing, and that passion is what propels me to keep doing it. Now, a lot of days is a headache, yes. A lot of days am I tired, yes. Do I not get sleep, yes. But because I believe in what we're doing on both levels and on both projects, I'm gonna keep going, man. And I just hopefully the people who read it, hopefully they enjoy it, because that to me is the big thing. If they enjoy it, I'm good, man. I'm good.
that's the beauty of it. And I'm glad you said that. You enjoy it.
I
A
do.
lot of times, unfortunately, we'll hear people talk about comics, and I'm all for constructive criticism. I believe that's a necessary thing.
Definitely, it is.
If you love something enough, you're going to criticize it constructively, so it can
Yep.
be the best that it can be.
Yep.
Valid criticisms, obviously, not something that's off the wall. So for you to say you passionate about it, you love it, you enjoy it, I love hearing that. And the Joker would be envious of the smile you have on your damn face. That's what shows it.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's not just what people are putting on the page, because you can have an incredibly dope book, but if you don't have the heart, the passion, the soul, the drive, and the love for it, it's going to show. It might be good, but it's not going to be great. It's almost like food. Somebody could make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, give it to you. But if they give it to you and you know that person and puts the love and attention and puts it in there, you're going to say, what are these like imported peanuts? Like what type of the jelly? Like what type of is this like what type of is this dragon fruit? Like what type of
step on them grapes?
Yeah, like these are is there a vineyard in back? Did you just did you just crush? This is ridiculous. So I appreciate that. That's what I love about comics, is when someone is like excited, like you're not going to believe what I've got. This is exciting to me. I love that feeling. So that carries over, and it gets, now I'm excited even more for seeing that. So I want to say that I appreciate your enthusiasm and your passion and you enjoying that. I feel like sometimes that's missed in comics nowadays. And we need more of that love and passion and fun. Just having fun. So, I mean, congratulations on the 15 years. Epiphany Engine is going to be huge. You're doing so many incredible things.
Can I
yes.
let your fans know to go and sign up for Epiphany Engine? It's on Kickstarter. We're going to do a Kickstarter on Juneteenth. It drops on Juneteenth.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you can just put in Epiphany Engine, hit the sign up, the green sign up button, and that will let you know when we drop. And hopefully you enjoy everything that we're going to unveil. And I think you will. Because we got some killer talent lined up. Some of the best in the comic industry. Some of the best Black curators that you've ever seen.
Well, what I'm going to do, as always, I'm going to put the link in the episode description.
Please,
so people will be able to go right to it and check it out, because I love that feeling. And when it is live, if you would like to come back, I'd be more than happy to have you back.
Brother. Like I told you,
honestly,
I love your show. I love what you do, and I love the fact that you care enough for other people's, care. You care so much about their well-being, and that shows in your shows. So I appreciate that.
Oh, I thank you. It's always very important that I show like Kickstarter, because sometimes a person might not know, and unless you're scrolling through Kickstarter, which sometimes I do, honestly, like I've seen comments, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was going on, and I'll hit it and it'll get funded and I'll read it. So I always like to show that, that, hey, they've got this comic is out going on, it's coming up, what have you. I love that. So I'll always try and put the link in there so people can go click on it. I'll always try and talk about it, and that, and it's there's so much, like you're gonna have this Kickstarter going. You have the Epiphany Engine, Advent, living life, everything. That's a lot on a person,
Yeah.
and especially with being a creator, regardless of your medium, there's that anxiety at times, like, I don't like this, I don't like that, and it can weigh you down. On top of just being a person in
Yes.
general. So I'm always concerned about people's mental health and their well-being and self-care, to making sure that they do something. What's something that you do for self-care that keeps you grounded, that keeps everything together?
To be honest, one of the things that I did after working nearly 30 years in the fire department is, and they thought I was crazy. I said, I hope your fans pretty don't get mad at me. I got a lot of kids. I said I wanted to try an edible, and I said that I wanted to, right, because 30, I ain't
Bruh.
smoked 30 years or dabbled because in my line of work you can't. So I
Right.
said I wanted to try an edible, and then when I actually told the other firefighters this, they looked at me like, "Are you serious?" I said I'm going to a therapist. I'm going to a therapist because when people call you at the fire department, they're at their worst. And I know a lot of jurisdictions are different, but the one that I worked at was the third busiest in the country. So whenever you call 911, the fire department came on every call. So not only was the fire, was paramedics, ambulance, we came. And I saw a lot of things in that 30 years. I'm like, I don't want to take that with me into my next phase of life. So I was like, I'm going to see a therapist. And they were like, "You serious, Joe?" I'm like, I'm dead ass serious. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was
you're
like, yeah, I was like, I'm serious. I am going to see a therapist. And that was one of the things I did for me. Now, on a regular basis, I will just unplug from everything, just to de-stress. Because I spent so much time away from family, being a firefighter and doing comics, that now has been my stress reliever. Believe it or not, getting around my family, seeing my grandkids, just taking the time out to be with them. Just went to a family event last night. Had the most fun I've had in ages. So that for me is my self-care right now. And then also, I'm doing something right now that when I first got into comics, I said there were two things other than comics that I wanted to do. I want to do a Saturday morning cartoon for kids. Still working on that. And I want to have toys, not customs, factory produced toys. I just got the factory produced toys thing down. So it's not big because the company wants to see if I can carry the weight, so to speak. And
okay.
we started with like a 4-inch line of toys. Titan's going to be the first one coming.
Right.
I'm going to start showing the pictures on that on Facebook and social media. Probably, I just got the pictures back the other day. So I'm going to start showing those pictures probably the end of this week or beginning of next week. But I'm going to need everybody's help because they said if I have to sell 1,000 toys, 1,000 action figures in order to get my goal. My real goal was to do a 6-inch line of all black characters. And they said, well, if this sells, we'll push you up to the 6-inch line. So I'm calling on everybody. I'm going to give you the hookup on how to do it, tax-free, and you get your money back. Just donate some of the toys to a kid or to an orphanage or whatever you want to do, tax write-off. But yeah, we gotta get those 1,000 pieces made. And if we do, they said we got an all-black comic line coming up, 6-inch figures. And I got some heavy hitters coming for you. And
That's
I'm trying to open it up to other publishers as well, see if they will go for it. So we'll see. We'll see.
that. First off, congratulations on the figure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Figures are great, whether you are playing with them or whether you just like to have them as
That,
a collection,
that's it.
items, what have you. Secondly, I want to say the fact that you were going into therapy, because yes, as a first responder, you see people at their worst, unfortunately, and you see them, whether it's happenstance, life, what have you, or if it's just something that they've done to themselves. You see them at their worst, and that takes a toll on you
It does.
mentally and your
It
soul.
does. It does.
That takes a huge toll on you.
And there were times because I didn't want my family to experience that. I had to kind of wall that portion of myself off.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't want to carry any negative effects from all the trauma and things I've seen into my next phase of life. So I want to learn, make sure I deal with it correctly. So that's just
Exactly.
how I want to do it.
So doing the edibles and the therapy, that's very important work, and
Right.
that's something that for a long time black men didn't talk about. That black people didn't talk about that for the longest time. The first people I really started talking about that were black women, and
Yeah.
then black men were like, yeah, we got to get ourselves right as well. So congratulations on doing that as well, and the edible route. I have not tried edibles.
uh,
I'm kind of paranoid when I do partake, but I
I,
haven't partaken in years.
I am as well. I'm waiting until the official. Like I said, I retired the other day, but it doesn't become official until like a couple weeks.
Okay.
So it was funny because at my retirement party, a lot of my coworkers bought me edibles. They were like, "All right,
Oh.
this is different. Take a little bit. They'll take a little bit."
Uh-huh.
I'm waiting until that day where the official paperwork proclamation, the gold watch, and all that comes out. Then I'm be like, now I can indulge. Now I can indulge. Job well
Well,
done.
when you do, let me know
Right.
your experience, because
I
I
will. I
I,
will.
I wanted to try it. I wanted to
I
just be
will.
like, you know what, let me. But life stuff happens. But let me know what.
I will. I
Thank
will.
you, thank you, thank you.
My wife. My wife is like, "You're not gonna do that, are you?" I'm like, "I want to try it. I want to try it.
Might
See
as
what I'm
well.
missing. Yeah, see what I'm missing."
So another part of self-care that I do personally is comics. Comics is a part of my self-care. Reading them, finding new stories. Trying to reread old stuff, but there's so much new stuff coming out that I can't get back to some of the older stuff. So what are three comics or graphic novels that really hit you and that are faves of yours?
The favorites of mine. Okay. Not necessarily graphic novel. I wouldn't call any of them graphic novels. But
Hmm.
like I said, a lot of crossovers appeal to me.
Hmm.
I guess going as far back as when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I went to Toys R Us, was a toy store back then,
Hmm.
and I bought, or my parents bought for me, Muhammad Ali versus Superman.
Oh, okay.
That was a big treasury sized book. It was an oversized book. It was comic book form, but it was maybe like, it was a huge book. Anyway, to see Muhammad Ali and Superman go at it, and for Muhammad Ali to win as a young black boy, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like,
Hmm.
I can do anything. I can beat Superman. So that always stuck with me. Another favorite comic of mine. I've always loved Avengers ever since I was little. I loved Avengers. But if I had to say anything, it would be the Avengers and the Justice League crossover by Kirk Busiek and George Perez. Love that book. Like I said, not so much as a graphic novel, but I love the fact that two of my favorite teams from the big two got together. And a lot of people, had their thoughts on the book, but for me, it was heaven. It was heaven watching them come together. And something else that resonated with me, I guess Batman. Nah, because that didn't. That really. I mean, it was shocking for a minute, but then again, it didn't carry. I won't say long term. Graphic novel wise, I would say Death of Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel,
Oh, yes.
because when that
Okay.
came out, I was like, wow, and I had to go to the comic book store to get it because there was no other place to get it, and I
Hmm.
couldn't believe that one of the characters who been around for forever passed away of something like cancer, something normal. And I'm like, wow. So that stayed with me for a long time. I think that was 82, 81, 82, somewhere around there.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, early 80s.
yeah, early 80s. Okay.
Those are heavy hitters, and those are iconic
Yeah,
moments too, between Muhammad Ali,
yeah,
taking on Kal-El.
yeah,
That image of the cover is, I mean,
yeah,
burned into my brain.
yep,
um Two top tier teams, Avengers and Justice League.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, even if you might not be into superheroes, whatever, that's still an iconic thing.
Exactly.
You have to check that out to see even the interaction
Right. Because
between certain
yeah,
characters.
there were small moments that most people would have been like throwaway moments. For me, I was like, wow, Green Arrow and Hawkeye finally met up and they talking trash or whatever. I mean, that's little things, just little things. Or
Yeah.
how the Avengers jumped Superman. I mean, I was like, bruh,
Hmm.
I was in love with everything about that series. Everything about that series.
And I mean, yeah, and the death of a Captain Marvel was so tragic and hard hitting because it was
It was
something that can hit us all as cancer.
exactly.
And the image of all the heroes around the bed.
He's in the bed, and when he took his final moments, and the
Exactly.
smartest heroes couldn't save him.
Hmm.
That was the point where it was like, wow.
And it wasn't from like, a fight or anything. So
Nope.
that's what cements that one and so important. Those are great choices.
Thank
Now, look, y'all know it's in the title, hungry. It's right there. You got to know I want to talk about food. You got to know how to talk about food. So I had to ask Tony what was one of his favorite restaurants that he enjoys. That's a favorite. Now there were two choices. One we're not going to go with because that's a special occasion spot. So we're not going to talk about that.
Right.
We're not going to talk about that.
Right.
Maybe later on we'll talk about it.
All right.
On another show. But but you want to talk about you want to talk about Cheetos.
Yep. It's a little Tex-Mex place that my wife and I go to. We go there for happy hour drinks. Food is great. The prices are great, and like I said, the margaritas they have this big margarita, frozen margarita, for like $5 that will take you there. I mean, one of those things alone will make sure you're feeling right for the rest of the night. But yeah, so that's our little spot. We go there with friends. Our oldest daughter who lives in the area, we all, little meeting spot. So we have fun there. The staff knows this because we're going there all the time. So it's a cool place to go to, and the food is excellent. So if you're ever in the Laurel, Maryland area, go to Cheetos and check out the food because it's delicious.
The menu looks
the prices
incredible.
are good too.
The prices look good, and I'm sure the portions are definitely
for what you're paying. You're like, oh, they should have charged you a little extra for this.
Exactly. But I absolutely love that. I mean, the menu, I always love the way that restaurants' websites are too, because they need to get you in and they want to show you the food in the best light. And this food looks incredible, and I know it tastes even better.
It is. And I'm not even a big fan of Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really eat Mexican, but their food is so good that I started eating more and more of it. And this is probably, for a while, I'll tell you, and I don't laugh, the most Mexican I did was Taco Bell. That wasn't Mexican.
Oh, yeah, that ain't
Mexican. But this place, oh man,
you're getting the real deal here.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I mean, they have a dinner, they got a brunch menu, they got a kids menu, they got a drinks menu. Yep. I'm looking at this menu, and first thing that popped up was quesadillas, and I said, "Now you are talking what that's definitely my language right there."
And the vibe is cool too, because in the back, it sits like next to a lake. And so they have in the summertime, spring and summertime, they have like the outdoor section that sits right there. You're right on the water, and they're playing the music. They have live music. The vibe is cool, man. The vibe is cool. So like I said, that's a spot that we frequent a lot.
So y'all heard it here. If you are in the Maryland area and you have time and you are hungry, I need you to go over to Cheetos Tex-Mex Grill. As always, y'all know I'm going to put the link in the episode description so you can go check it out. They have online ordering. You can go there. You might need to go there and sit down for a little bit so you can get one of those margaritas so you can feel right.
Indeed.
Tony was telling you.
Indeed.
You're going to feel good. But I'm also going to have the links for for the Kickstarter for Epiphany Engine, so you can go and sign up early. So when it drops, you'll get an email that day telling you it's live. You can go and check out everything they got going on, find the tier that's best for you, and go in, support me well. Also, figures well, because because 15th anniversary of Advent Comics, which is monumentous. I mean, let's be honest. That's monumentous. It's a special occasion, and that's awesome. 15 years of doing anything is incredible. 15 years in comics is even a step above that, because it's not an easy business. And it's a funny thing of it's like you have a straddle this thing of retail but also art.
Yes.
It's a very straddling that thing. Anytime you're in that creative field, you have to balance that out, which is sometimes difficult if you're not like a retail-y person. So you have to do it. So 15 years is incredible. And to just be stepping up more and more and more is beautiful. you're going to have figures coming out. So folks, you need to hit those figures. If there's a link or anything, you're going to let me know about a link.
Yeah,
so I can tell people?
we're going to do a Kickstarter for that too.
Okay.
Probably in April. Probably
Okay.
before the Epiphany Engine kicks off, which will be in June.
Okay.
So we'll probably do that. Like I said, we just got to sell 1,000 figures. If we can do that, the company says they'll move on to the next phase and we'll get those 6 inches coming. So
folks, you have gotten, I think, pretty much a huge lay of the land with Advent Comics. Thank you to Tony Kittrell. You have heard about Epiphany Engine. You have heard about the incredible comics from Advent, like Titan, like Cosmos, like Regulators. You have heard about figures that will be coming out. You've gotten a lot of information. There's a lot going on, but you know what you do? Go through each thing. First, I need you to sign up for the Kickstarter, obviously. Then I need you to go and check out Advent, see what's going on. I'm going to have the link for that Facebook page so you can check it out. And then I need you to just be patient until you get that email that says live, and you go and you hit that button and you go donate. All right? Folks, look, I can't close the door when I have these incredible people coming over. I can't. They coming in. I got to talk to them. I got to have them sit down, and I got to have this fun. Tony, thank you so very much for being here. I truly appreciate you, sir.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you and to your fans and your followers. It means a lot to me. It truly does. And I'm grateful and I'm humble and I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, no problem at all. Thank you for the comics, and thank you again for your service and doing those first responder things, doing incredible work and amazing. Truly appreciate you, sir. Appreciate Advent Comics. Folks, I don't know what else to say. This is, I'm literally getting like goosebumps on the back of my neck. Like, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm gonna go get some cheesecake. I guess that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get some cheesecake and I'm gonna watch some Golden Girls. That's all you can do after this. That's how you cap this night off. That's it. That's it. So folks, thank you very much. Again, Tony Kittrell, Advent Comics. I need y'all to go check them out and check out the Kickstarter. Links in the episode description. I want y'all to have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. And remember, do the best you can with what you got, because at the end, that's all that you get. And I'll see y'all later. All right. Peace. Have a good night or day, whatever time zone you're in. You have a good one. Bye, y'all.